was new. And so it was like, if she becomes really good at this and you guys break up, there's a decision we have to make. So it ended up working out, and we got to build, both him and I got to build the operations team. So I got to run trade shows. I went to Canada like a month later after getting hired to go do one of their trade shows up there. So I moved all of our booth stuff, got to set up, bring samples, shipping product everywhere. And it was literally the beginning. I honestly didn't know what I had gotten myself into. But we ended up building a team. Let's see, how many people did we have? Almost, I would say like it was eight operations. So we had transportation, we had customer service, we had helping on the inventory. I did a lot of the inventory management stuff. What else? Project manager was under our ops team, and it was such a cool team. I was so happy. Like, if I had to say the teams that I've built over time, rock star team. Like, I would hire everyone in a heartbeat and be like, hey, we're gonna go do a different we're gonna go do not plant-based cheese, we're gonna go do some other food stuff. I would do it.
So you probably didn't mean to do this, but I think this gave some great advice, right? Like, all these people trying to find jobs, whether you're a college student or on a laid off, right? Of course, like, you need to get paid what you earn, what you deserve, right?
Yeah.
But I think there's so many opportunities for, like, to go to like a startup, a company, like, hey, do you need this? Do you need that, right? And if you're doing good stuff, maybe they don't hire, but they're gonna say, hey, people in my network, Jason's fucking kicking ass. I can afford to hire him. Can you help me out and get him a job, right?
Yeah.
I think there's so many people miss that opportunity, right?
They do, and actually, I loved, the reason I even got into startups was because I got an internship at a startup from Seattle University, and it wasn't my ideal, it wasn't my go-to, but it was what was available at the moment, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, let's do it. And I have now gone back at Good Planet Foods. How many? I think we did like 3 different internships. We also hired a lot of people who were trying to adjust back into life from actually being in prison. So our founder, David, and Spencer himself had spent time in prison. And for them, it was really like, how do we get people back on their feet? And so for us, it was like, again, how do we empower people to get back to and be better than they were? So internships are amazing. We actually literally this last week launched our internship at Prospera Ventures. And it's just one of those things where if you can get hands-on experience working with people who just want to grow and do good work, like, I would say take that opportunity 1,000%.
Yeah, I just think a lot of college students and people in general have it wrong, right? Cause like, so I work with the University of Washington. I get sales interest from them. So I apply. A lot of people like, I'll tell them, like, honestly, like, I can't afford to pay anything. Like, no, I can't work for you, right?
Yeah.
But you're like, but one thing I'm proud of, like, every intern I had has got a job somewhere else. Like, help them get a job, right? But yeah, just so many people have the wrong attitude. Like, no, like, I graduated from college. I need $80,000 a year job. Like, what have you done, right? Like,
yeah.
I think another challenge too. A lot of college students are like, I'm kind of like exaggerating, but like, they graduate in June, right? And all the applications say, need experience. I'm just glad I have no experience. Like, they expect you to get like 1 or 2 internships, right?
Yeah.
Something, right?
If I could go back and do it again, I probably would have just shadowed. I would have asked someone to like shadow them or work for free for them in any capacity.
Yeah.
And I encourage people that I work with, like I just did the Seattle U mentorship program that they have, and that was one thing I told them, when you're thinking about a field that you want to do but you're not sure, it's like, go shadow them, go find someone who's willing to
No one's gonna say
it.
no.
That's what I'm saying.
And if they
like,
do,
you don't know that till later.
If
but
they do
me
say
looking
if they do say no, it's like you probably don't need them anyway.
Yeah, or they're probably
Like
thinking,
fucking jackass.
I was gonna say they're not worth shadowing to begin with. But if someone were to come up to me and say, hey Bianca, I really like what you're doing, but I don't know if that's something I would be interested in, would you mind if I shadowed you for a day or for a week? And I would figure out a way to do it. If that was going in, because I work from home, if that's going into a library, if that's saying, hey, this is what I'm working on today, and I'm not perfect, so I like to go to my team and have them check my work and all of that, they would probably learn so much. But you don't know that when you're younger, because we have that fear instinct when we're younger, right? We're gonna fail, they're gonna say no. But if you do that to anyone, like, yeah, sure, why not? Like, how do you sign this NDA? But
yeah, I think one of the big examples of that, I had a guy on a podcast. He ran the 400-meter hurdles in the 2016 Olympics right in Brazil, right? Mm-hmm. And so when he was doing Olympic training, going to college, University of Texas, he reached out to all. He wanted to do. He does like a right now has a $100 million financial equity company. Mm-hmm. And so in Austin, he reached out to all these like big wig bankers. Now, he didn't mention being an Olympian trainer. Of course, that gave me advantage, right? But I still like mentored them 8 hours a day, did training college, right? Like, man, like no one does that, right?
No, and it's one of those things where I think when you're younger, you think people won't give back unless they're at
everyone
level,
wants to
right?
give back.
It's not till they're 60 or they won't say yes, but everyone has there's like that instinct in us good people that are like, yeah, I'll teach you, I'll show you.
Yeah, I always say like if you reach out 100 people, probably one would be a fucking jackass, right?
Yeah.
The rest of them will be able to help you out, or I can't help you, or here's someone to connect you with, or the worst, man, I don't have the time right now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's suppose you and Spencer are looking at business, right?
Yep.
I'm sure this will never happen because y'all like a tight knit team, whatever. But if you meet with the team and do whatever, Spencer's like, man, this is the best company ever. You're like, Spencer, this is the worst fucking company I've seen in my fucking life. Are you on drugs? What's going on right now?
Oh my gosh. Actually, I do feel like that's happened. And it's not that it wasn't as drastic as this is the worst company, but it was like, they what do they call it? We have a word for it where you fall in love with it, and it's almost like you've got rose-colored glasses almost, right? Yeah. And so you kind of forget about everything else you were doing, right? You kind of forget marketing, you're kind of replying to emails, but your focus is now like, I am so in love with this company, whether it's the industry numbers, whatever, that you're focused on it, right? Oh, the people are so great, and we had this exact experience, but you go back to it, looking back on it now, even him, he's like, you know what? I'm glad this one didn't work because, first of all, the numbers were shit. They were. We had nothing to work with. But we loved the people. We loved the business. Like, there was so much to it that was like, we could do this. But you go back to it and then you're like, ooh, these numbers, like, we would have kind of been screwed, right? And then if the next domino had fallen over, like, this would not have been good. And so there is, I think, that balance where you have to get multiple points of view, whether it's just me and Spencer or other people on our team. It's like, hey, balance me out. Am I thinking too positively on this? And I think that's what's good about having other members.
So cheers real fast, my friend.
Good to see you again.
So we met at a networking event for Summit, right?
Yes.
And I don't know if I told you this right. Maybe I did. We were talking at this event. So Jaime invited me, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe a week before, 2 weeks before, right? It was my calendar, right? The day it was like 6:30. The day I was like, man, I'm not doing. I'm like, I don't deal with no fucking people. I'm like,
I want to go home.
I want to go home. I was in like a dark mode, right, man? But like, man, like, just go, Jason. And I went. I met you. I met Cody Brown. I met so many people, right? It's like, and the lesson is like, sometimes you don't feel like doing stuff. You gotta do it, right?
Yeah.
You have to force yourself to do it sometimes.
It is, and I feel like from someone who works from home, when a networking opportunity comes up, my first reaction is, yes, I'm going. Mm-hmm. And then within the days coming up to it, there's always that hint of like, oh, do I have the energy?
Yeah.
Like,
so what's my time? Who's going to be there?
What's my ROI on this, right? Do I have other stuff that's prioritized?
Because we've always been like networking events are like, this is a complete waste of time. Like, these people are like snobs or jackasses, whatever the case may be.
Everyone's just going to pitch me on X, Y, and Z.
What kills me too, like, a networking event, and you tell, okay, there's groups of four. Mm-hmm. These 4 people know each other, right? You're not networking, right? Yeah. You're not networking, right? You're just, doing like, reacquainting yourself with friends already know, right?
Yeah. I like to walk up to those groups though and really just be like, hi. And then,
I hate doing that. I can't do that.
They almost get uncomfortable first. They get uncomfortable first, right? But then they realize like, oh shit, that was a cool person, right? Yeah. Because give them a little bit of time, give them an intro, whatever, I'm mingling, and then you can walk away, right? But it is hard to find, where do you start the conversation? Yeah. How do you decide if it's worth continuing right here at least? And then like, okay, now I need a part because
Yeah, my tech, I'm trying to do a good job on the mic. So, hey, if you talk to somebody you already know, what are you doing, right? Go meet someone else, right?
Yeah. Just wave from across the
Exactly,
the
right. Yeah, I mean, you have to network. You have to be like what's the word? Like pinpointed, right? You just can't go to any.
Yeah.
Like for you, to be a waste of time for you to go like a network event for like I don't know, making I don't know farmland or a networking
Something
thing.
that's not focused
Yeah,
around what you're doing.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So let's suppose you acquire a business. What type of responsibility do you have for when the previous owner he gets a check? What kind of response do you have to make sure he transitions to a better life? Or you're like, okay, here's your $10 million.
Yeah.
It's not on me for you to be happy, or it's not on me if you like figure out the rest of your life, right?
Yeah.
We did this transaction, right?
Yeah, and actually, that's a great question because at the beginning of our conversations, one of the things I love to ask them is, do you have plans? Like, are you ready to travel the world? Have you already done that? Are you moving? Like, do you already know what you're doing? Because I am curious what it looks like for them, right? Because they've been thinking about this idea. They're gonna leave the day to day, and have you thought about it? Because I'm genuinely curious. I want to know, and honestly, if you are gonna travel, like, where are you going? I'd love to know about it, right? Maybe I need to go there. But I do want to know what they're doing, if they've thought of it. I also think that we do talk at the beginning of if they have a preference on transition. There are some people we meet where they're a little bit on the younger side, and they're like, nah, I have about a 3-year runway. I could do whatever. There are others that are like, I kind of just want to do this for 6 months, get you guys comfortable, and then I want to be done. Right? And so when we're talking through those, it's really good to know because then we can figure out what do we need to plan on our end, right? Does that mean one of us fills in the gap? Is there someone on their team that's going to move up? How much due diligence do we need to do or follow them around? And so having those conversations and clear expectations at the beginning is really, really important.
Has this ever happened? Like you buy a business and the person says, you know what, man, thanks for this money. I'm gonna chill out. I'm gonna travel the world for 2 years. And they come back in 3 months. I was wrong. I want to get back involved in business. Can you hire me as CEO? Hire me back in the business, something like that.
Oh, that's funny. I personally have not had that interaction. I'm sure there are quite a few people out there though that have had that where they're like, I would love to just stay busy. But I think in that capacity where they're not sure that they're going to do that when you're having the conversation about buying the business, you almost, if it's worth bringing them back on, I would almost do it more as an advisory capacity, right? Because they do know the business, they know the industry, and they know the people. So I would look to them from an advice standpoint if there was that good relationship and rapport. Now, if they were messing up the culture or there were some other like negative things, you have to be nice about saying like, hey, we love your input, but I don't think it's going to be feasible. But I think from an advisory standpoint, they have really good knowledge, especially when they've been running the business. If it's one that's been around for 40 years, like they could have some really good advice.